Greetings from MWN.com. Dr. M. Wilson, formerly Vice Principal and Head of Department of Commerce, Scott Christian College, Nagercoil, is delighted in presenting this session. Thank you. Please subscribe the channel MWN.com. Values, beliefs and attitude. Values. Values are a person's beliefs and principles about what is important in life, and how people should act. They can be used to determine priorities, guide decisions, and help people act in certain ways. It is the underlying principles and standards that guide our behavior and help us justify our beliefs and attitudes. It is something we accept as true, what we believe. Characteristics of values. 1. Values can differ between individuals, cultures, and over time. 2. Values can be intrinsic or instrumental. Values that are intrinsic have worth in themselves, such as love, truth, and freedom. Instrumental values are traits or behaviors that are used to achieve a goal, such as ambition, responsibility, and courage. 3. Values can help with compatibility. Core values can help people navigate compatibility with others and communicate what's important to them. 4. Values can help with priorities. Core values can help people see where they want to spend more of their time, money, and energy. 5. Values can be contradicted. Values can be contradicted through experience, such as taking a value to its logical conclusion. Beliefs. It is a feeling that something is true, morally good or right, or that something really exists. These are the ideas that a person holds as true. It can be based on real knowledge, faith, or opinion. For example, a common belief is that God is doing miracle in our life. These beliefs are experiential beliefs, influenced beliefs, and intuitive beliefs. It is important to remember that not all of our beliefs are true. Attitudes. Attitudes are a learned tendency to view and judge things in a certain way. They can be a frame of mind in favor of or opposed to a person, policy, belief, institution, or topic. Attitudes are made up of beliefs, knowledge, and values, and they tend to predict behavioral intention. Attitudes are a person's beliefs or opinions about a person, object, idea, or situation, and are often favorable or unfavorable. Attitudes can be based on a person's past experiences, emotional reactions, or a combination of both. Importance of attitude. 1. Attitudes have intensity, structure, degree, and direction. 2. Attitude strength is determined by cognitive accessibility, and can be increased by having people think about, express, or discuss their attitudes with others. 3. People with negative attitudes, such as discontentment or boredom, may behave in ways that reduce efficiency and effectiveness. 4. A belief is a propositional attitude, because it has a specific meaning that can be expressed as a sentence. A propositional attitude is a mental state or belief that corresponds to a declarative sentence. It's a concept that philosophers study because of its connection to natural language and thought. Values, beliefs and attitudes are well presented in the diagram. Communication. Communication is a process that involves sending and receiving messages through the verbal and nonverbal methods. Communication is a two-way means of communicating information in the form of thoughts, opinions, and ideas between two or more individuals with the purpose of building an understanding. Communication is sharing information from one person to another person or a group of people. Every type of communication method involves at least one sender and a receiver. It is complex, as effective communication can be affected by a range of things. It includes our emotions, the cultural situation, the medium used to communicate, our location. Communication has three parts, namely, the sender, the message, the recipients. Types of communication. Communication is normally classified into 8 types like verbal communication, nonverbal communication, written communication, visual communication, listening, formal communication, informal communication, and online communication. 1. Verbal communication. Verbal communication encompasses all communication using spoken words. It also includes unspoken words, i.e., sign language. In verbal communication, the communicator should use the right type of language and speak clearly. They should know the audience, respond in the best way, and use an appropriate tone when speaking. 2. Nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is the process of sending and receiving messages without using words. It can occur in a variety of ways, including through facial expressions, gestures, and body posture or position. Nonverbal communication is considered important to correctly read and understand each other. 3. Written communication. Written communication is the exchange of information through written words. It can be done through the following ways: email, letters, notes, a way to leave advice or an opinion for another person. Posters, a way to communicate with a large group of people. 4. Visual communication. Visual communication is the use of visual elements to convey information and ideas. It can include a variety of mediums, like signs, graphic design, films, typography, infographics, data visualizations, slide decks, GIFs, screenshots, and screen recordings. Visual language is a system that communicates through visual elements. It helps users perceive and understand visible signs. A painting is an example of visual communication. 5. Listening. Listening is the act of paying attention to sounds and interpreting what is being said. It is a learned process that involves receiving, interpreting, recalling, evaluating, and responding to verbal and nonverbal messages. Some different types of listening are as follows. I. Critical listening. It involves analyzing and evaluating what is being said, and making judgments. This type of listening may involve problem solving or decision making. 2. Comprehensive listening. It means listening to understand a message. Example, students listen in a class to an idea about the subject. 3. Appreciative listening. It involves listening for what one like. People listen the TV programs that they like most. 4. Evaluative listening. It involves trying to find value in what is being said. The listener evaluates the truth, merits and demerits of the message received. Formal communication. Formal communication is the exchange of information between people within an organization that follows official rules, policies, and a hierarchical structure. It's a controlled way to communicate that's often used in writing and follows a top-down structure. Characteristics of formal communication. Official channels. Formal communication uses official channels like meetings, emails, memos, business letters, reports and presentations. Code of conduct. It follows a code of conduct like specific formats, language conventions, and professional etiquette. Chain of command. It follows the organization's chain of command, with higher-ranking employees often using it to send messages to lower-level individuals. 7. Informal communication. Informal communication, where conversation partners are part of a group, organization, or society. The following are the 3 types of informal communication. Vertical. If information flows freely up and down in the organizational structure, it is called vertical communication. For example, the superior speaks to subordinates and subordinates speak to superior. Horizontal. If communication flows across a structure, it is called horizontal communication. In this type of communication, the of communication freely flows among the same category of employees. Diagonal. In diagonal formal communication, all levels of employees communicate with one another in any direction. 8. Online communication. Communicating through internet is known as online communication. Example of the mode of online communications are WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. In this kind of social media platforms, it is possible to send messages to as many people as possible. Methods of improving communication skills. 1. Actively listen. This means paying attention and truly listening. 2. Body language. This means being aware of your own body language and how this comes across to other people, and also being aware of the other person's body language. 3. Ask questions and provide feedback. This ensures engagement from you as the receiver of the message. 4. Make eye contact. 5. Be clear to the point of the message. 6. Take notes. 7. Proofread before sending anything in writing. 8. Use a strong, confident speaking voice. This is more important when one is doing a presentation. 9. Avoid using filler words, like, and, so, or all filler words, and should be avoided where possible. 10. Know the audience. Consider who you are communicating with, what they care about, and how to reach them. Barriers to effective communication. Barriers to effective communication can result in confusion. It can convey incorrect information to the receiver. It can lead to loss of business. The barriers to effective communication are as follows. 1. Semantic barriers. It is also known as language barriers. These barriers are caused due to improper communication due to language between the sender and the receiver. The following are the instances of semantic barriers. Poor quality of message. It may give incorrect meaning to the receiver. This is due to the lack of clarity or complexity of the way of providing information from the sender. Technical language. Language barriers also arise when the sender of the message is speaking in technical terms while the receiver is unaware of the terms. It creates confusion and misunderstanding between the sender and receiver by acting as a barrier to effective communication. Psychological barriers. Psychological barriers arise due to the state of mind of the sender and receiver. If the sender or the receiver is not in a good mood due to family matters or company matters, then the effective communication will not happen. Psychological barriers to communication can be seen in the following instances. 1. The receiver may create premature conclusion before the message is received. The receiver may evaluate the message even before it is transmitted. This can lead to barriers in communication. 2. Inadequate attention from the receiver's end at the time of communication can lead to barriers of communication. It means the information conveyed by the sender is not properly received by the receiver. 3. If information is passed within multiple sources, then the receivers of the message are not able to retain everything that was conveyed. Organizational barriers. It is caused due to the structure, rules and regulations present in the organization. The complexity of organizational structure and multiple managers make it difficult to convey information properly. Hence, the information gets distorted, leading to miscommunication. 4. Cultural barriers. These barriers arise due to lack of similarities among the different cultures across the world. A term that can be harmless in one culture can be regarded as a harm in another culture. In an organization, people with different cultures may be working and their cultures reflect the barriers in communication. Physical barriers. Physical barriers arise due to faulty equipment, noise, closed doors and cabins. This causes the information sent from sender to receiver to become distorted. It results in improper communication. 6. Physiological barriers. Physiological barriers arise due to some physiological issues like dyslexia, or nerve disorders. It interferes with speech or hearing.